Alrighty, everybody. It is late in the day. I am gonna try to grab a game. I have not played a game all day today. In fact, I haven't played a game in a couple days, so I'm gonna try something. We'll just throw it out there and see how it goes. Let's see what kind of game we can get into. I've been looking for an opportunity to try a slight tweak. Okay, so he's probably gonna fianchetto the bishop along that diagonal. Bishop. Yeah, it should be fine. I can get my pieces to move. So I've been looking at trying to play a Queen's Gambit declined where I capture instead of waiting for black to capture. So I'm putting my knight here. It's possible I could look at maybe doing an early e4 push. This is a line that I have never played before, but it is something that I've heard people talk about. Going ahead and just controlling the entire center with my pawns. It supports the same exact picture I would do normally if I put the pawn to e3. But by pushing all the way up to e4, I just control more squares. It would give me basically control of all of, let's see, these three pawns would control, oh man, I can't draw arrows. These three pawns would control all these squares and basically give me a full control of the center. And this knight helps support that. This knight is defending that pawn, so that's not an issue. So the question is, do I push it or not? I'm gonna go for it. I've been talking about it. What the hell? We're going to go for it. Probably still do the exact same plan otherwise of getting our bishop out, defended here. Our light square bishop might make an appearance along this diagonal. Maybe. My opponent's castled, so I'm ready to castle. Yeah. This plan, though, does have the potential of dropping here, right? So I have to be careful that the only defender of this pawn is this knight, and so if my opponent trades, I lose control over this pawn. So that's something I need to be considerate of. I don't know what this queen move is for, to be honest with you. Can't really get another attack. Let's just go ahead and stick my other bishop here. I'm outside of my comfort zone now, so I do not know how to continue this line, right? I'm out of book, as the saying goes. This guy's defended by this pawn, so I think my queen is still going to end up here. I can't really move my queen, though, because this... I mean, I could technically, because the knight is defended, but I hate to give up this structure that I now have a good hold on. Wondering if there was a way to rotate my knight around to do something about this bishop, but there's not really. I don't like this bishop at all. However, okay, so we are castled. So I could do an h3 pawn push to convince my opponent to remove that. Most likely they'll just retreat it. Okay, yeah, so here is where the danger zone lies. What happens if I take? Is that a problem if I take? I could push past. Actually, I'm looking at that really hard right now. What happens if I push past? Lock up the center. I gain control of this space, right, with this little pawn structure. My light square bishop becomes much weaker in that because the pawns are sitting on those light squares, kind of taking away that space. But I don't have to worry about this knight being... I don't have to worry about this knight being the only defender of that pawn. So I'm going to do it. Way outside my comfort zone at this point in time. Notice I am giving up control of this particular square. If my opponent were to, let's see, yeah, he's going to look for something like this or like this. We're going to start here, take away this square, but I'm assuming my opponent's going to bring that knight around to here, yeah. And notice it's immediately putting pressure on my light square bishop. And honestly, actually, at this point in time, I don't care. The only reason I care is because it gives up... I'm only defending that with this queen, right? So there, and that gives up defense of this. So what if I were to remaneuver this bishop? Where do we remaneuver the bishop to? Because I'm thinking if I remaneuver the bishop, then my queen can defend both these pieces. But where the hell do I remaneuver the bishop to? I don't really want to take because I like my dark square bishop right now. Although that would open up the center. Give me an almost passed pawn. So I'm debating, right now I'm debating on taking or where to put my bishop. And there's really not a lot of good squares to put my bishop because that diagonal sucks. I have to bring it all the way back and then put it up here. Now, you know what? Let's just get rid of it. I've hemmed and hawed for too long, so my opponent's just going to take back here. Yeah, but you know what? All right, let's think this through. In a closed position, the knights actually end up a little bit stronger. I'm just debating on freeing up my rook a little bit, seeing if maybe there's a way I can bring it up and over. Something along those lines, maybe. Don't know. I'm way outside my comfort zone, so I'm just trying to look for good, solid moves. We are even in material. I now have a nice little structure in the center of the board. All right, so this pawn is not very well protected yet. These pawns could become backwardish pawns, and so they could become targets. So my pawns are going to be targets for my opponent to attack, but I have some nice, comfortable space here. Really would like to see this bishop go away, though. Aha. If my opponent runs the bishop back to h5, I have trapped that bishop. Yes, that disturbs my pawn structure somewhat, but since we're both castled, I'm just looking to make sure there's nothing I need to worry about. This could end up being an isolated pawn if I'm not careful. Although, if capture's here, I might capture with the knight to keep these two pawns connected. Is that what I want to do? So he took here. Oh, no. It's the same thing that happened in my last game where I got destroyed. So I'm up material, but my opponent is going to infiltrate. Yeah. So... all right, now we need to do something. I don't have a dark square bishop, but I've got the knight here. The light square bishop would be a good one if I could do something with it. Notice this is going to come soon. So I'm going to start with this. Because this move is coming soon. Excuse me. And I don't know if I can stop that. But I can get my queen to here. Maybe I rotate my bishop along this diagonal now. So I'm putting pressure here, but my opponent has way too many tactics right now because I have exposed my king. But my opponent has gotten two. Is there anything I can do with this to... No, not really. So let's just defend. And then I'm going to bring my bishop around. It might be too late, though, because this is coming. But I can defend here. This is an ugly position. I am defended against checkmate. I would love to push this past pawn. There's too much defense along the back row, but that's a long-term goal. But I do have this nice structure in the middle I'm still happy with. Would really like to get my light square bishop into the game somehow, and I may have to do that by rotating my rook out of the way. And then bring my light square bishop down and up. No, even that can't work. Oof, I can't even get my king out of the way. Maybe if I bring my king... No, I can't bring the king up. Because that loses the defender. So there we go. Okay, good. Now we are safe. I might actually look at a trade of queens. Oh no, I can't do that. All right, let us get... Rotate the knight, rotate the knight. Does that help at all? No, not really. Rotate the knight, rotate the knight, rotate the knight. Is that the same thing that I was just looking at? No, that's slightly different. All right, so I'm opening up a square here for my bishop and or my knight to come around. Oh, that didn't work. Whoops, whoops, whoops. You guys probably just saw me screw that up. I wanted my knight to come down, to come up, and then end up back here. A knight on f1 gives me a little bit more protection. So he's going to come here with check, looking to have a second attacker on that particular knight. Get his piece back and his couple of pawns, because he has... No, it's only one attacker. Never mind, it's only one attacker. Either way, it's only one attacker. I'm fine, I'm safe. What happens if this, though? Then I have to go right back. I don't know what to do right now. I don't want to take... All right, I'm going to open this up. This is not a good move. It's way too early. My opponent's got all of these squares covered, so that was a bad pawn move. The only thing I can hope for is maybe to push this pawn next, I guess, and claim that I have more space, maybe. I'm not happy with it, though. I need to retreat this knight is what I need to do, but... Nope, I can't. Yes, I can do that. Nope. Yes, I can. Yes, yes, yes. So I am... Oh, but then what happens if this? No, I'm okay. I could do that. So I'm trying to force a queen trade, is what I'm doing. I have undefended my knight. That's what my concern was. I'm going to go ahead and pre-move this. I've undefended my knight, but I don't think my opponent can attack me and the knight at the same time. But by trading queens, I consolidate the position and I increase my safety by a significant margin, I think. So my knight is undefended, it's got to move. The question is where, and so we just got to rotate it around just to get it the heck out of dodge. Do I have anything better at this point in time? Is there anything I can do to maybe shake things up now? I just need to rotate, rotate. No, it's defended there. So let's a knight on the rim is dim. A knight on the edge is dead, right? So this is not a great knight anymore. I was hoping as the position got closed down, my knights would become stronger, but this one is not. Actually, it's going to be nice if my opponent doesn't do anything. Okay, so let me go ahead and solidify my pawn structure. I need to get my bishop out of the way so that I can double up rooks and support this pawn. I think that's okay. So get a pawn back. There is no threat here, so I can go right back. All right, there is no pin. All right, so let us... If this bishop ever moves, maybe we hop into here. No, I don't like this because that knight, that guy is not supported. Let's just bring... man, there's really not a lot of good squares for this bishop. I'm now signaling to my opponent that I'm about to push my pawn. If he brings a rook over, I can snag here. Now, granted, he would probably just go, oh, but then I can grab here. Maybe this position is shaping up. Maybe we've got something. So I am eyeing this pawn now. Notice this pawn is defended, but I'm eyeing this one. But my opponent has defended it. But now I get that pawn push for free. I'll be able to get a rook up to here. So I've now picked up extra material. I don't think my opponent noticed that my rook was defending, or maybe I missed something. Okay. So my opponent is looking for this. So capture, I can capture. Capture, I can capture. The question is what happens if he stops here? I can capture. All right. So just looking to trade down wherever I can now. I'm looking for trades. So this knight is going to help defend. And now I have a target and I have targets. Alrighty, let us go start with this. Put pressure here. This is defended, so I can grab here. So this has turned out all right. Now I just have to not screw it up, right? So how do I not screw this up? I don't want to go here because I don't really have any good choices. I don't want to go here because that just immediately causes issues. Here. My knights are looking really crappy right now. They are my extra pieces. I'm going to grab here. And if my opponent pushes, then I can rotate the knight up to here and get it a little bit better. I have to remember that this rook is defending the bishop, and I don't want to drop that bishop if I can help it. Does that give me anything right now? It gives me a free check. I'm just looking at anything that I need to be concerned about. So I'm way up in material right now, and I just need to start looking at, all right, so my opponent is looking at something like this with check. Driving me away from the base of this, I guess, and defense of my... no, we can't do that. Cancel. We're just gonna start pushing. So this check is gonna come. I'm gonna have to drop down. I'm gonna lose this pawn and this pawn. So I have to be really careful. I could go like this. No, I can't. I have to defend the knight. So the knight is defending the pawn. All my opponent has to do though is slide the king out of the way, and then the rook can come down. Ah, but now that my bishop is here, I have this. Okay. We can help consolidate this position some more. And then I'm gonna have to be really fast on my mating patterns. So I can't screw around with my mating patterns. So the king and the rook are offset. If my opponent doesn't catch it, then this comes with check. My opponent is almost guaranteed to swap. So that's just a trade. We're okay with that. It's gonna come with check, I guess. No, but this does. So I'm still okay here. Now I just have to defend this queening square, but my stuff is faster. We can go here. I'm really trying to concentrate on making sure that I don't screw this up. But we have the increment, so I'm okay. That's defended. Keep pushing my opponent backwards. I'm going to take the cheat way. I have this if I ever need it. So, GG, well played. Woo! We got a good victory against a strong opponent. So my rating, as you see, my ratings fluctuate. That's just how they do. Ratings go up and down and up and down. Ratings fluctuate. But my rating is somewhere around 1400, pretty consistently. High 1390s, 1380s, like this is, 1370s even, to 1420s, 1430s, somewhere in that range. So I'm calling myself a 1400 player. My opponent is rated higher than me, and I was able to get a real victory. And granted, I'm going for the cheaty win, but I have the extra pawn. My opponent's king is nowhere near it. I can get the win in. But if we look at the position from here, there is probably a check. In fact, let me turn the engine off first. Let's see if I can figure out how to checkmate someone real quick. So it is my opponent's move. All right, I'm going to cover up. No, I can't do this. I can't do it on the fly. I don't know the best move for black here. Let's just say he goes here. This seems good. He can go up the wall. I want to, yeah, my opponent is in stalemate right now because he can't come this way and he can't come that way. I have to move my queen back one. So move my queen back one, give my opponent an escape square. My king is also in the way right now. So I would need to, well, he gets a queen, I take his queen, and then we have to go through the whole checkmate pattern. Yeah, that sucks. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. All right, where was it? Right here. So I pushed b6. Let's say my opponent goes backwards. Cut him off, cut him off, cut him off. The king can still play around here. So then all I have to do is, let's say he moves down. I'm going to gobble this guy up. He moves down. I'm going to gobble this guy up. Now he's stuck in this corner. In fact, actually, I think from here should be checkmate, right? Yeah. So I don't even know why I was messing around with that because I've got the bishop. But let's pretend I didn't have the bishop, right? Now here's where things get interesting. We got this, we got this, we got this all cut off. So my opponent can only live in these 3 squares. So I have to make sure that as I approach with my king, yeah, if he goes to there, then I've got this. He goes to the corner. I don't have checkmate. That gets you there in the end. Ooh, okay, enough babbling, Joe, enough babbling. Let's go back to the beginning of the game, take a quick peek. So right here was the first real decision I had to make on what I wanted to do. Like I said, I've seen people play this line before, but I've never played it myself, so I don't know if it's the correct move order or not. By having my knight here, it supported that pawn push, and according to the engine, that was actually a good move, so I went for it. What is that opening called? Does it have a name? It's part of the King's Indian, and I can't see the full name. Okay. From here, my opponent, yeah, and then we just continue to develop, getting the bishops. Okay, so I went backwards to the bishops. I went like this. But I just know that sometimes I prefer to have the bishop here being defended. But maybe because this line is open, maybe I should have left it here on e2. I don't know. Yeah, the engine wants me to bring the bishop back. Well, I continue to develop. Just castled. Yeah, this is a really even position at this point in time. I don't know what this move is for at all, guys. That move really confuses me. Like I said, I guess he was preparing for me to do this. I guess this is a line that he's familiar with. this pawn push and then the queen infiltration, because that was strong. All right, so the engine agrees with me. No, the engine is waffling, so it looks like it's the same either way. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Maybe slightly better by capturing. So this only goes to 23, a depth of 20. So it only looks at it stops after it finds 23 different variations and picks the best one. You can extend this and go up to 99, and it'll give you even better evaluation sometimes. So you can't always trust the engine, but I decided to close, and yeah, we saw this coming. And this was another real decision I had to make, right here. What was the decision? The decision was to trade or to try to save this bishop. Yeah, and it looks like bishop capturing was the better move, so I feel good about that. Oh, did not like this pawn push at all. It says this was a bad move. But my opponent capturing seems to be worse. All right, from here, this developed, like I said, I didn't really have a plan. I felt like this was a real scary move for me. I did not notice this pressure. The engine says I'm up a little bit, but not very much at all. Barely up by 2 points of material. That's not a huge advantage. Okay. Because of this threat, then we just trade. Oh no, he wouldn't do that. Right. Because I have 2 attackers there. So yeah, okay. So this is the move I did not find. This is the checkmate pattern, right? The knight comes down and then the queen comes down. That's a checkmate. So my knight is comfortable defending there, but the concern was, but this knight move here stops this knight move. I went a different direction. I went this way, and boy, the engine does not like that. Not at all. Why does the engine dislike that so much? Because queen h4, that still threatens the same thing. No, it doesn't, because it's defended. I don't know. What's the threat here? Oh, right, because my knight is undefended, right? So I do what I did in the game. Queen d2. So if I make a nothing move, check. The king has to move. Now we're threatening this. Still checkmate in 2. Damn. So that is a danger that I did not, I don't know these checkmate patterns that well, so. All right, so luckily it did not go into that variation. So this was not the greatest move. I fully admit it. It's throwing the knight into uncharted waters, and realistically I should have just, if I was worried about the knight coming down, my knight could defend that square, or I could just leave it there because the queen can't push with my knight sitting there. Okay, so we were able to defend. Yeah, my opponent is threatening again. And then from here on out, I mean, the game just went as it went, and I feel pretty comfortable how this game went. Yeah, the engine says rook to d1, but I was thinking of rotating my other knight around. Have this knight protecting this square and this square. I don't know. I kind of felt that since that's the semi-open file, to go ahead and get the rook on there. Yeah, the engine still says that white is in trouble here. But the queen trade 100% helped me out. I feel like the queen trade, getting the queen off the board, 100% eased my stress, right? Because the queen is so hard to see because she's got so many moves she can make that getting that off the board solidified the fact that I did have that a little bit of extra material, but also that the threat of that queen sneaking a move that I couldn't foresee took that off the board. Yeah, and then unfortunately, I think my opponent ran out of steam. So they had this great attack, and they really, I mean, they had this planned from a long time ago, right? This was that queen move to a queen c8. I mean, that's way back here. That's way back here on move 7, and 7 moves later, they're finally, moving forward with their plan. So my opponent had this plan, very strong attack, and I feel pretty comfortable that the way we defended it. Yeah, I'm not in love with that rook move, to be honest with you. I was thinking about dumping it here on e1. I didn't know if that would be, good cutting off. I should have probably just done it, just dumped it here on e1. Oh well. Anyway, I think at this point in time, when my opponent's attack stalled out right here, I guess they could have rotated. Yeah, even then, there's really no way to stop me from trading queens. Unless they just get the queen out of the way, and then I continue to develop. But yeah, trading queens, I felt like 100% got me out of the concern. My opponent started making mistakes, right? Leaving that pawn hanging. And I think that mentally their attack fizzled. Physically their attack fizzled, but I think also mentally their attack fizzled, and they were looking for moves to make. And yeah, it happened. How many times that happened to me? Right? Hell, how many times in this game did I say I don't know what I'm doing? Yeah, this was I had no problem with the king move, right? Getting the king off of the open file. That's probably just a good standard of practice, any way you look at it. Well, yeah, did it want me to go? I guess it didn't matter. Yeah, at this point in time, I have a pretty serious advantage. And now there's really, now I've got it double protected, and coming soon is rook over, rook down, and then your opponent has to capture, then you capture back with the pawn, so that becomes a queen. So this is becoming really dangerous for my opponent. Yeah, I don't know if my opponent did this intentionally, knowing that that's a dangerous pawn. I don't know if they intentionally said, you know what, I don't have time to get my rook over because of this. Honestly, they could have just dropped, I don't see what's wrong with just dropping that rook back, right? Because there's no way that I don't have enough ways to push through with these two rooks connected. Sorry. But yeah, I was able to go up more material, and at this point in time, the game is pretty solid for me. The only concern is this, but even if I make a nothing move, I don't think this is enough. Oops. Undo. I don't think this is enough, because I just move out of the... Oh, I guess there is a slight issue. I thought I had this escape square. Over the board, I thought that I could just walk up and hide in here. But I don't because of that. So this could cause a slight issue, but this knight being here defends that. So there's not even this, right? If I have to move my king away, there's not even this tactic I have to worry about, so... Yeah, at this point, I guess I could have. This seems juicy, right? But I've already got a hungry pig, and you saw a hungry pig gobble, gobble, gobble. So we were super safe there, and so just trading rooks just felt really good for me. Yeah, hungry pig on the 7th row, just gobbled up. And this was a good try by my opponent. I liked this concept of getting, number one, attacking the base of my pawn chains and things like that. I mean, the boy marches king all the way down here. I mean, king was very active. I wish there was a better discovery, but there isn't. I've got a discovered check. Yeah, I feel really, really 100% good about the rest of this game. Okay, I could have hopped up here, put him in check. The king can't come down here, so the king would have to go back. No, king can't go there, so the king would have to go back up the board. Yeah, I missed that. Checkmate in 1? Checkmate patterns, y'all. So this is taken away. That's taken away. This is taken away. That's taken away. That is also taken away. I've got to get better at seeing those. Woo! Got to get better at seeing those. All right. Yeah, this was a good attempt. You know, drive me away from the defense of my knight. Checkmate in 3. A forced checkmate in 3. Because again, these squares are taken away. Wow. I've got to get better at seeing checkmate. That's for sure. So I gave up a pawn here. But this exchange only helped me. So I gave up 2 pawns. But, I mean, I'm just up so much material. And my pawn is... Even if my opponent started pushing, granted my king's in the way, but even if my king wasn't in the way, 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, it's my move next. So I go first, then he goes. I go first, then he goes. Let's pretend my king wasn't here. Then I go, I get a queen, he goes, he gets a queen. I can come and get the check first. And so a better player could win that endgame. But in this case, because my king's already here, I've got nothing to worry about. So my pawn is just way too fast. My bishop eventually could have come down and defended this square. So I would have used my king on that square so that neither one of these pawns can promote. And from here, it's just a queen versus not a queen. And it took me way too long to convert this, I'll be honest with you. The engine says in 5. And I just don't know. I don't know my end games well enough to have converted this fast. I mean, I did have a little bit of time pressure. I was down under a minute at one point in time. Yeah, down to 47 seconds, it looks like. So getting that increment, that 5-second increment, you could see how that really helped. It allowed me to make some quick, fast moves. My opponent has 2 pawns, so I do not have to worry about stalemate. If the king is in stalemate, then he can always push a pawn, even if it sucks for him. And then, yeah, pushing... Oh, this is where it ended. Delete from here. Yeah, this is where it ended. I pushed b6, and my opponent resigned because, again, there's nothing he can do to stop me getting another queen. And more importantly, I can stop both of his pawns. There's no concern about his pawns getting down. My king is in a prime position to stop both of them. And it's just overwhelming at this point. So, all right. Yay for us. We got a win in. It's been a while since we played a traditional game. We got a traditional win. You can see my rating dropped has been dropping quite low. In fact, if you look at my profile, my rapid over the last 3 months. Yeah, so this line here is the 1400 line, and you can see just hit it, and then we got over it for a while, and then we dropped, and then we've gotten back up. So I'm right around that. I hover right around 1400, it seems. I have my bad days, I have my good days, but I hover right around 1400, and I think my end game repertoire that I'm trying to learn is going to help me push to the next level. and I've decided to go back and re-watch the training videos that I originally watched the first time to learn the basic openings, right? So I want to go back and re-watch the Italian. I want to go back, I want to re-watch some Roy Lopez. I want to go back and I want to re-watch Queen's Gambit. So if I go back and I brush up on those 3 lines and start looking for not just what to move, but why to move, and start looking at those kind of openings in depth, I think we'll be able to get that push, and maybe we'll hit 1,500 by Christmas. That'd be cool, right? It's October 14th today, so maybe we plan on hoping to hit 1,500 by Christmas. I don't know, could be. So, all right, guys, this was a long video. Thank you for staying with me. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a great day.